Do you ever see Sages do this wall on split? Did you know that you can completely demolish their entire team with just 2 mollies when they do this? With this Killjoy setup, the attackers will have nowhere to go, basically using their own Sage wall against them. In this video, we're going to be going over 9 other crazy Killjoy setups that you can use on every single map to absolutely massacre the enemy team. We call these blender setups, by the way, and basically your goal with them is to put players in an absolute blender the moment that they walk into your trap. You can create these setups on every single map by just understanding these 2 simple rules. The first rule is that your molly damage does not stack, so you want to spread out your nanoswarms as much as you can without leaving gaps. This will ensure that it's as difficult as possible for enemies to make it out of your trap. The second rule is that you'll want to perform these setups in corridors where the enemies are trapped in tight spaces. When you look at your mollies, they will always cover a rectangular shape on the map when placed correctly. These are generally the best areas to craft these setups, and using these 2 rules, you can create your own setups across every map. Here's another crazy setup you've probably never seen before. Credits to Joltira for inspiring this. Your nanoswarms will actually hit enemies below them when placed on top of Seasite Lotus, so you can use your mollies here to damage players who push towards Waterfall. This one is a super simple retake setup for C. Mollies in both corners on site, and then alarm bot towards Waterfall. You can have your turret towards B if you'd like, or place it on site to spot, but basically your goal here is to play passively on Waterfall and wait for your alarm bot to trigger. Right when it goes off, pop both mollies and the players should be fried. This setup works especially well when you have your ultimate because you're in the perfect spot to immediately go into a retake, likely with numbers advantage thanks to your setup. The best part about this is that oftentimes race players like to throw their satchels or paint shells backside to clear out your utility, so this setup is normally able to avoid breaking if that's what you're up against. This next setup is insane if the enemies are looking to push through market, but it also provides a ton of value across the map as well. You place your alarm bot in top of mid to spot out if anybody is lurking on your team there, and then your turret is in the corner of market. This will spot the walkout of B main as well as be the trigger for this setup. Then you'll place a molly right here next to the info board and then in the corner next to the entrance. This molly in the corner shouldn't be easy to shoot for the attackers, so the moment that your turret goes off, they're already in too deep. You pop both mollies and swing to collect your free kills. This setup is great because it still provides passive info on B main and top mid while still focusing most of the utility into this one blender setup. Now it's time for the Zelsis Ascent setup. This one was popularized by Zelsis and is insane if you're looking to anchor down B site for an execute. You place your turret on the button so that it will spot B main and mid. This turret is actually super nice for your team because normally Killjoy will play mid with her alarm bot, so since you can't do that, your turret will still be helping them out across the map while you're playing on site. Now for the cool stuff though. You come over towards lane and place your alarm bot on stairs. Then one molly goes on this pebble underneath, and the second molly is right clicked into the sewer grate by aiming where the wooden planks connect. Make sure you crouch when you do this as well. These mollies will still hit players above them and below them, but they won't be able to be seen by players who run out, making for a really nasty surprise. Try this out in your next match to pick up some free kills. It's important to remember that the setups in this video are what we call blender setups though, and they're mostly intended to help you anchor sites effectively. If you're looking to get the maximum value out of Killjoy, you'll also want to learn all of the best info setups on every map to get the most out of it. Blender setups aren't always great because if the attackers don't come to your site, then you're actually not getting as much value as you could. However, with info setups, you're basically always getting infinite value because you can have utility that will gather information for free. This is something that we cover in our Master of Minutes Killjoy course, which is designed to teach you everything that there is to know about Killjoy in around 20 minutes. We have crazy tricks that top Killjoy players use to gain an advantage on their opponents, as well as over 30 additional setups and ultimate locations that you can use on every single map. These setups are created by studying all the top Killjoy players and compiling the best things about their setups into just one place so that you don't have to scour the internet for hours just to figure out how to play this agent. We also recently have been coaching a Killjoy main to Diamond, and I've uploaded every single coaching session with him onto our Road to Diamond course for you guys to follow along with as well. If you are looking to climb with Killjoy, SkillCapped is literally the best place to do it right now. But don't just take our word for it, we also offer a rank improvement guarantee, so if you don't climb, you don't pay. Check it all out with the link in the description below, and other than that, let's get back into our setups. This next one is an essential Haven setup that every Killjoy player needs to know. It's done using that standard turret and garage to cover both C and garage, and then you're going to come over towards B and place your alarm bot. One nanoswarm on each side to stop any sort of B rush, and you will be golden. Anyone who walks into B is going to instantly be put in a blender and absolutely fried. And even if they don't go B, your turret is still going to provide excellent info. For setup 6, it's actually a 2-part setup. This one is actually a trap for hookah on bind using your mollies and alarm bot, but then over towards long, you're going to be performing another trap with a teammate. All you need is someone with a flash, and then you're going to wait for your turret to trigger and then whip the flash around the corner. This turret will give you really early info on anyone pushing up, and you can basically just swing and pick up your free kills. This works like a charm, and pros have been using this setup for an eternity to frag out. Going back towards sunset, we've got a setup for A this time. First, you're going to place your turret on the slant to watch both A and mid. This turret is deep enough in A where enemies will have to come pretty far forward to kill it, while it also gives your teammates valuable info on top mid in case they're leaning more towards B in that round. With this, you'll be playing pretty passively towards alley with your alarm bot behind default and 2 mollies coming out towards elbow. One could go on the ledge by the wall and the other in the triangle towards the corner. Place your alarm bot in the center of these mollies, and the moment it goes off, light them up. You can swing from alley off of this setup knowing that enemies must run out to be safe. Or if you're smoked off, maybe just spam through and try to finish anybody off. Going back to Ascent, remember when we said that mollies work best in rectangular areas? Well, one of the first places you might consider is actually tree. This is the perfect spot for a trap setup for teams when they like to push mid a ton, and works really well as a retake setup as well for A. There's a similar setup where you place the mollies on the sewer drains to cover all of tree, but honestly this one doesn't work great because players will see the first molly before the alarm bot goes off. To optimize it, we've actually moved the setup back slightly. It loses a little bit of coverage in tree, but the way players peek into this, they shouldn't be looking in this direction anyway, so they're less likely to see it on their screen. Most players don't ease their way into tree, they'll often swing out wide here, so your alarm bot will pop and it should get some incredible damage off with your mollies. One of the best places for Killjoy to anchor down on split is actually A site. Her utility makes watching both main and ramps really efficient, and pretty much alone you could shut down and execute with the right setup. This is the standard Killjoy setup that you'll see on site to provide your team the most value while still proving to be an effective anchor. Place your alarm bot in heaven and your turret on top of this double stack. Then 2 mollies, one near the entrance and the other a bit more into the open. This way, if players try to book it towards site, they'll get lit up, but if they run out into the open, you'll be able to pick them off due to the tagging from your turret and the mollies separating them from their team. Finally, we've got to finish off with a pretty well-known setup, but just an awesome one that everyone should know. First, your alarm bot goes in the corner by button, and then your mollies are going to be placed like this. The first one is on the green patch near the cable, and the second is on the tile near generator. Finally, your turret goes in hell, and you can play off the setup from the far left side of heaven, in hell, or from in tree, and basically all 3 of these spots work great. You'll fry enemies looking for the button and pick up free kills with this setup at least once a game. This also works great as a retake setup for A, since you can drop your ulti in tree after spamming enemies through the smoke with your alarm bot triggers. Use these 10 setups to start dominating your matches, but if you're looking for more, remember to check out our Killjoy course where we have over 30 additional lineups and setups across every map. We'll include all of the info and blender setups that you need to start hard carrying your matches with Killjoy today, along with every best ultimate spot as well. We also have a bunch of tips related to how to lurk on Killjoy, how to anchor, and even some sweet tricks to give you a little bit of an extra boost that you need to push as far as possible in your rank journey. All of our site is backed by a rank improvement guarantee, so if you don't climb while using our service, you don't pay. That's like your local gym promising you get ripped. They would go bust if they offered you that, but not us, because our service works, and if it doesn't work, you shouldn't pay. So if you're interested in checking it out, use the link below for a discount code, and other than that, my name's King, and I'll catch you in the next one.